In the year 1980, Ali Khan entered the world. Coming from a lineage of doctors, Ali's parents naturally envisioned him following in their footsteps. With his sharp intellect and captivating, outgoing personality, Ali had no trouble making friends. He possessed a great sense of humor, always making those around him laugh. According to his friends, he was the most lovable, likable guy who could start a conversation with anyone. In 1998, Ali headed off to college with aspirations of becoming a doctor. However, it was during a summer job at a car dealership that Ali discovered his true passion. According to his work colleagues, Ali was a brilliant car salesman, and he found immense enjoyment in selling cars. He dedicated himself wholeheartedly to his job, often working 80 to 100 hours a week without complaint. Ali's love for selling cars was so profound that he made the decision to forego his pursuit of becoming a doctor in order to continue his career as a car salesman. While his parents initially felt disappointed that Ali wouldn't be following the family tradition of becoming a doctor, they ultimately accepted his decision. Ali's success in selling cars earned him recognition from his supervisors, who rewarded him with a Rolex watch, a token of his achievements that he cherished and wore proudly. In 2006, Ali's talents were further acknowledged when he received a promotion to manager and was transferred to a dealership in Houston, a move that took him approximately 3 hours away from his previous location. It was in Houston that Ali crossed paths with Nancy Flores, an attractive 32-year-old woman. Unlike Ali, Nancy was more reserved and introverted. Her upbringing differed significantly from Ali's, as she did not come from a close-knit family. Tragically, Nancy's parents had passed away in a car accident when she was still a child, an event that likely had a profound impact on her personality, leading her to be more withdrawn and less talkative, preferring to keep to herself. According to friends, Ali and Nancy shared a deep and profound connection, unlike any Ali had experienced before. This bond was so strong that when Ali returned to Round Rock to manage a new dealership a few years later, Nancy accompanied him. Despite Nancy's reserved nature, their relationship blossomed and they appeared to be deeply in love. Ali viewed Nancy as his soulmate. As Ali's career soared, he became increasingly successful, opening multiple dealerships and taking on additional responsibilities such as training new employees. He surpassed the company's expectations, becoming a highly valued asset and the backbone of the dealership. His dedication and hard work paid off financially, allowing him to support both himself and Nancy comfortably. With his substantial income, they indulged in luxurious vacations, dined at expensive restaurants regularly, and lived in a beautiful modern house. After 4 years together, Nancy and Ali announced the exciting news that they were expecting a baby, revealing that they were anticipating a boy. 3 months later, the couple got married in a private ceremony. So from the outside, it seemed like Ali's life couldn't have been more perfect. The successful career, a beautiful wife, and a baby on the way. Ali seemed to have the life most men his age dream of. But what appeared to be a spectacular life with a promising future soon morphed into a haunting nightmare. On February 28, 2015, Ali failed to show up for work without informing any of his colleagues about his absence. This was out of character for Ali, so his colleagues became concerned. Worried about his well-being, his coworker Alex decided to visit his home and knocked on the door. When no one answered, Alex contacted Ali's wife, who told him that she wasn't in town and that it would be several hours before she made it home. Nancy then went on to provide Alex with unsolicited details of her marital problems as she was driving to the house. By 1 p.m., Nancy arrived home and instructed Alex to wait out front while she checked on her husband because he may not be fully clothed. When she went inside, Alex heard her scream, so he went inside and found Ali dead on the floor of the master bathroom and Nancy on the floor next to his body, saying, "They killed him." Ali was shot multiple times, including twice in the head, leaving a pool of blood beneath him and splatters across the floor. Alex immediately called 911. When detectives arrived on the scene, they found a single shell casing belonging to a 9mm pistol near the body, as well as bloody footprints. The positioning of the body and the smeared blood indicated to investigators that the body had been moved. Nancy informed the police that valuables, including money and jewelry, were missing from the house, yet there was no sign of forced entry. The absence of any evidence of a break-in led detectives to conclude that the perpetrator likely had access to the house. Police interviewed Ali's co-worker and friend Alex Bedoya, questioning him about any potential enemies Ali might have had. Alex asserted that Ali was well-liked and didn't seem to have any enemies. With no evidence linking Alex to the crime, investigators didn't have any reason to believe that Alex could be a suspect, so they let him go. When Nancy was questioned by investigators, she disclosed that she last saw Ali on Thursday night, just 2 days before his body was discovered. She admitted to having a heated argument with Ali that evening. She mentioned that Ali went out with a friend known as Turkey, whom she disapproved of, believing him to be a bad influence. Nancy said when Ali didn't return home that night and didn't return her calls, she became concerned, so she went looking for him. She mentioned repeatedly returning to their house to see if Ali was there before deciding to visit a friend in Stockdale, which was 80 miles away. When Nancy was questioned by investigators, she disclosed that she last saw Ali on Thursday night, just 2 days before his body was discovered. Nancy maintained that she did not see Ali again until she arrived at their house and discovered his lifeless body on the bathroom floor. When questioned about whether Ali might have been hiding any secrets that could have contributed to his death, she responded by saying he liked to use pills and also smoked marijuana, as well as other drugs. She claimed that Ali would often hang out at strip clubs and that the killer could be someone he met in those establishments. Police interviewed Ali's friend Turkey. According to Turkey, Ali called him on Thursday evening while he was at home. Turkey informed Ali that he would be heading downtown and suggested they meet up, to which Ali agreed. They ended up going to a few strip clubs after Ali and Nancy got into a fight, during which Nancy scratched him. Ali had mentioned that he was in the process of ending things with Nancy. Turkey explained that Ali and Nancy had been experiencing relationship issues for quite some time. They left the strip club around 2 a.m. and Ali dropped Turkey off at home. They continued messaging each other until Ali got home, with the last message from Ali received by Turkey around 3 a.m. Because of what Nancy said about Ali's drug use, detectives asked Turkey if Ali was involved in the selling of drugs or if he had any problems with anyone. Turkey clarified that Ali only smoked marijuana and nothing more. However, Turkey disclosed that Ali had been involved in a relationship with another woman in her 30s, unbeknownst to Nancy. According to Turkey, Ali would often spend time with this woman when Nancy was away visiting friends. Turkey did not have any further details about the woman and didn't even know her name or where she lived. Convinced that Turkey was not involved in the murder, detectives redirected their attention to Nancy. During Nancy's interrogation, she admitted to suspecting Ali of having an affair after finding incriminating text messages on his phone. Although devastated by the revelation of infidelity, Nancy revealed that it wasn't the only issue plaguing their marriage. She claimed there was also domestic abuse. Detectives delved into Nancy's allegations and found a police report detailing an incident of domestic violence 5 months prior. However, the report indicated that Nancy, not Ali, was charged with assault. Nancy claimed that Ali had assaulted her during the altercation, but upon examination, Ali was found to have bite marks and bruising while Nancy showed no signs of physical harm. Nancy admitted to biting Ali but insisted it was in self-defense. Based on what the officer had observed during that incident 5 months prior, it was concluded at the time that Nancy was the primary aggressor, not Ali, which is why she was charged with assault. With these revelations, Nancy emerged as the prime suspect in Ali's murder case. When pressed for an alibi, Nancy claimed she had spent the night at her friend Jennifer Perez's house. According to Nancy, when Ali failed to return home, she decided to drive to Jennifer's house in Stockdale around 3 a.m., despite it being a 2-hour journey. Suspicions arose, prompting police to secure a search warrant for Nancy's vehicle. During the search, authorities made a startling discovery: 2 watches, which Nancy alleged were stolen, along with blood-stained clothing, ammunition, and the box for a 9mm pistol, but notably, no firearm was found. Subsequently, Nancy was charged with tampering with evidence. During the investigation, Nancy's friend Jennifer was interviewed regarding Nancy's whereabouts on the night of Ali's disappearance. Jennifer's account contradicted Nancy's timeline. According to Jennifer, Nancy arrived at her house around 2 p.m. on Friday afternoon, a significant deviation from Nancy's claim of arriving at 3 a.m. on Friday morning. As the inconsistencies unraveled, Jennifer disclosed that she and Nancy visited a clothing store because Nancy was wearing a dress and felt cold. Further raising eyebrows, Jennifer mentioned that they also stopped by a laundromat as Nancy expressed a sudden urge to wash the dress she was wearing, an action that struck investigators as suspicious. They decided to turn up the heat on the interrogation, so they informed Jennifer that if she lied about anything, she would be considered a suspect. Out of fear, Jennifer decided not to put herself at risk of potentially getting arrested, so she tried to be as truthful and transparent as possible. Jennifer then stated that when Nancy arrived at her house, she told Jennifer she had a problem with her husband. Jennifer saw blood on Nancy's clothes and asked her what happened. Nancy told her that Allie had beaten her that night. She said he arrived home around 3 a.m., woke her up, and started hitting her. She said she got hold of the gun and threatened to shoot him if he continued hitting her, but he didn't think she would do it. So he continued, and that's when she shot him. After that, the investigators let Jennifer go. With all the information Jennifer provided, the investigators had reason to believe Nancy was lying because she had no bruises and there was no indication that she had been beaten by Allie. Detectives decided to go to the laundromat where Nancy had her clothes washed. They arrived one day before the trash was to be collected. There, they found a bag containing the dress Nancy had worn, which appeared to have bloodstains on it, as well as shell casings from a 9mm pistol that matched the casing found at the crime scene. Detectives were then informed about another piece of evidence, possibly the most important yet. A groundskeeper at a church was mowing the grass in the cemetery when he ran over a gun, which turned out to be a 9mm pistol. The police confirmed that the pistol matched the shell casings found in the trash can at the laundromat. The serial number on the gun matched the serial number on the box found in Nancy's car, so the police finally had the murder weapon. With all the other evidence, detectives could now pursue a murder charge. On March 9, 2015, police formally charged Nancy Kahn with murder. While in custody, jail doctors made a startling discovery. Nancy wasn't actually pregnant. It turned out she had been faking her pregnancy all along, a deceit that even Ali fell for. In fact, everyone who knew her believed she was pregnant. Months prior, after the assault incident where Nancy attacked Ali, he confided in friends that he planned to leave her. He even emailed Nancy, informing her of his intention to seek a divorce. Fearing the loss of her comfortable lifestyle with Ali, Nancy devised a plan to keep him by faking a pregnancy. She told Ali they were expecting a boy, hoping it would dissuade him from divorcing her. Ali, excited about the news, eagerly shared it with friends, unaware of Nancy's deception. However, Nancy discovered that Ali was cheating on her and believed it was only a matter of time before he would end the marriage. Detectives suspect that Nancy's inability to control Ali, coupled with the fear of him leaving her, especially for another woman, pushed her over the edge. Fueled by anger, jealousy, and rage, she made the fateful decision to end Ali's life. With the overwhelming evidence tying Nancy to the murder, she knew that pleading innocent would likely result in a life sentence. In a bid to avoid this fate, she opted to plead guilty. As part of a plea deal, she received a 40-year prison sentence. Throughout the trial and sentencing, Nancy displayed no emotion. While Ali's killer was brought to justice and sentenced to 40 years in prison, his family and friends found the punishment insufficient. Given the brutality of the crime, they believed Nancy should have received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. While it may seem unfair, 40 years is still an extremely long time for anyone to spend in prison. Her projected release date is February 28, 2055, the anniversary of Ali's murder. If she lives that long, Nancy will be roughly 73 years old when she is released. Even though it's been almost a decade since Ali's passing, the pain of losing a loved one, especially a child, never truly fades. From the heartfelt accounts shared by Ali's colleagues, family, and friends, it's evident that he was deeply admired and cherished by all who knew him. Ali was a dedicated and respected individual, known for his hard work and kindness. He possessed a rare gift of making everyone around him feel valued and appreciated. His untimely departure left a profound void in the lives of his loved ones, especially his parents, who loved him dearly. Our heartfelt condolences go out to Ali's parents and all his loved ones. May Ali rest in eternal peace, and may his memory continue to shine brightly in the hearts and minds of those who knew and loved him.